Tewai-Siassi MP rejects Governor Naru's political bloc.
We have to get a good deal.
Waste management law not applicable to the Autonomous Region of Bougainville.
In terms of the transferring of the mining powers.
And despite the dry season, farmers celebrate World Food Day.
They are really affected.
This is National EMTV News with Mary Bartolo.
Good evening and welcome to Saturday's news. Thank you for joining us. The Deputy Leader of the People's National Congress and Tewai-Siassi MP, Mao Zemming, has rejected suggestions for the creation of a political bloc formed by Morobe MPs. This comes less than 48 hours after Morobe Governor Kelly Naru called for a united front to demand more road funding, retention of the GST and 2 more ministries. Zemming is also Fisheries Minister.
In a statement released by the Deputy Leader of the People's National Congress, Mao Zemming, he's come out strong that all 6 Morobe MPs currently in government will remain. Zemming has also stated that the Morobe MPs voted along party lines and the projects promised are being implemented. The statement gives a list of projects so far: the Lay City Roads upgrade, Angao Hospital and the establishment of the Morobe Shipping Services to replace Lutheran shipping. Yesterday, the Morobe Governor, in a press conference with Lay MP Lujaya Koza, reaffirmed his call for the creation of the Morobe Bloc.
We have to get a good deal.
But it's fast becoming clear that the allegiances to the coalition remain firm for now. This most recent call for a shift in allegiances is among others and comes at the end of a grace period that now opens up opportunities for possible votes of no confidence. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lay.
Papua New Guinea's mine waste management law that will be developed will not apply to Bougainville because of autonomy arrangements between the national and autonomous Bougainville governments. Mineral Policy and Geohazards Management Department Secretary Shadrach Himata said this is because Bougainville is governed by its own legislation. Fabian Hakalitz reports.
In response to queries raised by this media, Mr. Himata said the national government law doesn't apply to the Autonomous Region of Bougainville. This is because Bougainville has its own mining law.
Under its own autonomy arrangement, Bougainville was able to do its own laws with respect to mining. And the national government has actually assisted them in terms of the transferring of the mining powers and functions to Bougainville.
On March this year, the Bougainville House of Representatives passed this legislation, the Bougainville Mining Act 2015. The aspect of this new law gives customary landowners right to say no to exploration and mining licenses and to participate in mining projects entitled to 5% pre-equity and royalties. Meanwhile, Bougainville President Chief Dr. John Mumis clarified the mining law isn't about reopening Panguna mine, but for the autonomous Bougainville government's mining powers ownership. The Bougainville Mining Act 2015 empowers CBG to raise its internal revenue and for landowners through putting exploration licenses out for international bidding. Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
Civil Aviation Minister David Stephen has urged the contractor building the new 82 million kina Goroka Airport to do a good job. The airport is funded by an Asian Development Bank loan and Chinese contractor, COVAC, will build the new infrastructure. At yesterday's public launch in Goroka, Eastern Highlands Governor Julie Soso also addressed the ongoing criticism on service delivery in the province by other local politicians. Bethany Harriman reports from Goroka.
The old Goroka airport will be torn down and replaced with a more state-of-the-art facility following Lay's Nadzab and Mount Hagen's Kagamuga. It's going to be built by Chinese contractor COVAC from an 82 million kina Asian Development Bank loan. Civil Aviation Minister David Stephen wants the job done properly with this loan that will be shouldered by taxpayers.
ADB, this multi-faceted loan facility is a loan. Ultimately, our people pay for it. And so any delay or any mismanagement of the projects and program will ultimately come back to the taxpayer. My role as minister is to make sure that it happens, and it happens in time and within budget.
The facility is part of a group of airports around the country getting upgraded to make major towns and cities more conducive for investors and tourism. Goroka's economic growth hinges on the airport's development and a four-lane highway that has been promised by a lady governor who has received criticism for service delivery in the province. She vented her frustrations yesterday to a public audience that weren't receptive to her speech. She later explained in this interview why she had to firmly defend herself in public.
For me as a leader, I'm open to criticisms, I'm open to people saying all kinds of things. I'm open and I'm prepared to face come 2017 challenges. Who wants to challenge me? I'm prepared to.
Goroka is the second largest city in the highlands, and this puts pressure on the provincial government to deliver. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
The Autonomous Bougainville government must address climate change at the highest political level. This is the call from the Office of Climate Change and Development. Again, Fabian Hakalitz with this report.
Office of Climate Change and Development Acting Executive Director Gwen Sisio has called on the Autonomous Bougainville government to be serious in addressing climate change within the region. Bougainville is one of the first lots of climate change refugees in the world, the affected Carteret Islanders, and this call is important when effects continue to be experienced in other parts of the Autonomous region. One immediate move is the setup of an Office of Climate Change, initial part of the drawdown of powers and functions from the national government in future.
Addressing this issue within the region, maybe come up in one office, climate change, or come up in one, even if it's just one officer where me got contact long him.
Office of Climate Change and Development is ready to become partners with the autonomous government in addressing climate change.
Otherwise, come up in one committee where can look this law, where all get a sector, so get a line where all are affected by this law, or can sit down this law committee, provide him advice for ABG how to deal with them.
The recent launching of a fundraising drive in Arawa for St. Patrick Taperoi Primary School's relocation exercise because of rising sea level threats is a signpost for Papua New Guinea's new autonomous government. This is to remind the government of its primary role to protect lives.
Suppose and work and by inspiring all Naru place within Bougainville, but also outside, how you all can help him all yet too. Because now plenty province all sit down, all sing out the government come help him.
The house is to be washed away and then they act. But I think ABG needs to take on board this as a part of the curriculum.
Fabian Hakalitz, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. Among stories after the break, subsistence farmers in Central and Gulf provinces celebrate World Food Day. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Despite the current dry spell, hundreds of farmers from Central and Gulf provinces gathered at the Berena station in Kairuku yesterday to observe World Food Day. As expected, agriculturalists say the dry weather has decreased their production rate and lowered their income opportunities. However, this has prompted farmers to try different agricultural techniques.
Berena is an old government station in Kairuku district, once committed to agricultural activities. Its role as the host venue for the World Food Day celebrations is seen as an attempt to bring back the agricultural days. World Food Day is an annual event. Over the years, it has created the avenue for agriculture and livestock organizations to discuss and improve on laws that protect our food security and the correct measures on how to preserve food for later consumption. Pauline Amewa is a subsistence farmer from Makeo. She grows bananas and taro, but the prolonged dry weather is threatening a source of income. John Kaupa, another subsistence farmer, is more involved in small-scale farming. He has 4 children who are also farmers.
I started planting where the wet place is, I'm not really affected, but those on the higher part of the land, they are really affected. Bananas seems to be, they don't grow properly like the usual ones.
But these farmers are more concerned on how to bring their produce to the market. They said while they have the land to produce garden food, they need government assistance to help them transport and sell their produce. Takla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Gumini MP and Education Minister Nick Kuman says this year's dry season is a lesson for our people, government and relevant stakeholders. Mr. Kuman said agencies addressing the issue must assess the current situation and plan ahead. Over 50,000 people in Simbu's Gumini and Gembogol areas were one of the worst affected. Mr. Kuman recently visited the area and distributed food rations to the affected local level governments. The National Disaster Centre is yet to assess the district's disaster report.
Look, make sure that Ogara where only got this problem. I think by we find some long solution where by me can walk through the garden, walk through long lifestyle, by me long planting cocoa instead by me planting tapioca. I think by me planting on Nalba Keke where we can drought we can hold him.
People in Morobe's Kabum area are starting to receive rations from the district following the 6-month drought. The district so far has provided disaster relief supplies for 2 LLGs. Colin Barilai reports.
Morobe's Kabum MP Bob Dadai has directed his LLG managers to compile reports on areas affected by the drought in the province. The reports will assist the district in calculating costs covered in buying relief supplies. So far, the district has assisted 2 LLGs by providing them with store food. Kabum district is located in the hinterlands of Morobe, and people rely on their food gardens and creeks as a means of survival. Kabum MP Bob Dadai says the district is now facing food shortages. The district is planning to use project funds to purchase food supplies for the people. Kabum district is now reaching out to its people with relief.
Some of the worst hit areas of the Morobe province include Menyamia and the Makam districts, where smaller water sources and food gardens have dried up. Now, some schools have also been forced to scale down operations because of water shortages. Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Leh.
You're watching National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. We'll have soccer and rugby union. That's after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. 10 primary and secondary schools in Port Moresby will have their playing fields upgraded to international standards. This is part of FIFA's criteria in order to host the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup.
PNG will be left with a lasting legacy of international standard playing fields after the World Cup, where students will be able to use and promote the sport of soccer in the country. Minister for Sports Justin Chichenko said these schools will have international accredited fields which will be used for training and games during the World Cup.
For our primary schools and for our secondary schools, we're going to have internationally accredited fields just like this, where soccer can play or other sports can play at the highest level. So that's where the money from the government is going, into infrastructure to upgrade the facilities to the standard that FIFA require.
Minor works will bring Sejongais to full compliance with FIFA stadium guidelines, where the remaining fields will be ready by mid-2016, the latest. With the available facilities we have, we would be able to host the Futsal World Cup. In 2019, they will merge the Under-20 Women's World Cup with the Women's World Cup.
Anybody who hosts that tournament must also host the Senior Women's World Cup. Yes. And if you host the Senior Women's World Cup, that means you need more facilities. We do not have the adequate facility at this stage. And the Senior Women's World Cup is 2014. That means you have more stadiums. You might have at least minimum 6 to 8 stadiums.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
The administration of Capital Rugby Union is embarking on a journey to develop rugby union in the country. With the support of PNG Sports Foundation in training and facilitating coaches and trainers of rugby union, the code aims to develop into a popular sport just like rugby league. Shane Saroya has this report.
The Capital Rugby Union has been the feeder union to the National Rugby Union team and has the potential to improve the standard of the code.
We need to get our act together, put people that are committed to the game, not to themselves, but to the game. The game is bigger than all of us. The game is bigger than you and I. The game is there for everybody. We must remember that. We don't own the game. The game owns us.
However, the union is adamant that the code will continue to grow slowly but surely.
My executive is purely to get the structure in place that you, the government, can see as implementing tool that you can take from this area to see the development process that you want to see coming forward in the years in the code of rugby.
In his position as the newly appointed president of the Capital Rugby Union, Jacob Anga is determined to bring change.
Really passionate about it. Rugby has lost its course and rugby has gone astray because we do not have a junior development program, we do not have the structure that's coming through. And you all as will agree with me on the fact that rugby is not gone to the stage where it has gone because we don't have a structure in place and the junior development has gone way offline.
Since his appointment, the Capital Rugby Union has received government support and funding through Sports Minister Justin Tachanko and Vice Sports Minister Labi Amayu for the first time in a long while.
To sport, that administration and management are the key to the success of any sporting code.
There's a lot of challenges ahead of you. You will learn from your past mistakes, your predecessors' mistakes, and try to do right and do it for the benefit of the code itself. Do not take things personally and do not do it for someone else's sake.
Finally, with this funding and support, the newly upgraded facilities at Bava Park, the code is now in a position of advancement. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Tewai Sports. The weather details for the next 24 hours after these messages.
Tewai Sports. Tewai Sports.
Look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. First of all, in the southern region, Port Moresby, Naru, Kerma and Popondetta, fine and dry and mostly fine in Alotau. To the Momase region, mostly fine weather in Lei, Wau, Medang and fine and dry in Wewak and Vanimore. To the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau and Kavieng, fine and dry, mostly fine in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe and fine and dry in Buka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy with showers expected in Mount Hagen, low cloud in Goroka, Kundiawa and Mendi, and low cloud as well in Wabeg. And that ends today's news. Saturday, the 17th of October 2015. On behalf of the EMTV News team, have a pleasant evening. Good night.